Shalom, Boker Tov, good morning. It's really hard to say good morning today, but we have to say good morning, and we have to wish each other that it should be a good morning, and that we should only see good news. We should hear good news. We should share good news. This is Friday morning, when during the summer months, we have Kabbalah Cafe on Friday mornings, and because of the situation, because of the horrific situation of the terrible murder of over 1,300 of our brothers and sisters, in the most brutal way, I think it's important for us to get together, to strengthen each other, and to learn Torah, because Torah, the Talmud says, is Megina Umatzla. It saves and protects us. And so, getting together, coming together, and sharing words of Torah can only be a good thing. I want to thank Mordechai and Raya for hosting and organizing this Zoom meeting and posting it afterwards on YouTube, on the Chabad of Rechavia YouTube channel. You're welcome to pass around the link, hopefully after the share. Please remind me and I'll try to send it to you. And just in general, to go to our YouTube channel and to watch playlists of many shiurim and events that we've done here in the last couple of years. Believe it or not, but in this week's parsha we read about the greatest murder in the entire world. 1/4 of the world was massacred, was killed. 25% of the world. Can you imagine? You had Adam, Chava, and their 2 sons, Cain and Hevel. Cain and Hevel got into a fight. Vayakam Cain. Cain gets up and murders his brother Hevel. 1/4 of the world. That's horrendous. It's unimaginable. Adam and Chava, the Medrash teaches us, they go to the side, they sit down on a stone, on a rock, and they start to cry. They're very, very broken. They don't know what to do. Come on. They got into a little fight, and he kills him. He kills the brother. And Hashem sends an orev. Sorry that I'm not sure the translation in English. The orev is a very mean bird. If someone knows the translation, please let me know. I can look it up. I'm sorry about this. But when I plan to share. Okay. So the orev comes along with its beak. It picks up Hevel's body and buries it. And Adam and Chava see what is supposed to be done. It's the first death in the world. And they calmed down, and they knew what to do. So the obvious question is, what was it so puzzling to Adam and Chava after Hevel was murdered, what to do with his body? We already know what it says earlier in the Torah. Ki afar ata velafar tashuv. Hashem created man from earth, and the body is supposed to go back to earth after the passing. So what was so puzzling to Adam and Chava that they didn't know what to do? 82 years ago, when the Rebbe came to America, and they established the Chevra Kadisha, a new Chevra Kadisha from the Chabad community. They had a special evening for the establishment of the Chevra Kadisha. The Chevra Kadisha are the tzaddikim who deal with a body, with a Jewish body after the neshama passes away. And the Rebbe spoke at this event. And the Rebbe asked this question that we just asked. What was so puzzling to Adam and Chava? They didn't know what to do with Hevel's body. And the Rebbe explains that they definitely knew what to do with Hevel's body. So what was bothering them? What was bothering them was, how could there be so much evil? What do we do going forward? How can we educate children now in such a bad world, such an evil world? They felt like they were going to give up. It was only in the beginning of the creation of the world. What do we do? Where do we go from here? What did Hashem do? Hashem sent a large bird, lifted Hevel's body, dug a hole, and buried the body. What was the message? What was Hashem telling Adam and Chava? The act of burying a body after the person passes away is an act of kindness. Because the person can obviously not bury themselves. That's where the body belongs. A body is holy, and it needs to be treated properly. The Chaver Kadisha, someone that's involved in preparing the purification of a body before the body is buried, is called Chesed Shel Emet, a kindness of truth. Chesed Shel Emet is that the people that bury the person's not going to be able to repay them for what they did, because he already passed away. What was Hashem's message to Adam and Chava? The message was, do not give up. Just because there's some evil in the world, it does not mean that the world is evil. When you see something like this happen, such a terrible occurrence of murder, don't give up. Remember that Olam Chesed Yibaneh. The world is built on Chesed. As you see, that this bird went ahead and buried Hevel's body. In other words, there's hope. Have more children. Educate the children to go in Hashem's way. And teach them Chesed. Teach them kindness. And this is the true legacy of those that have passed on. Not the evil, not the murder. Those are not eternal. Ma'asim tovim, good deeds, those are the ones that are eternal. And therefore, it is up to us to get up from the morning and to keep on building. Yibaneh. Olam Chesed Yibaneh will be built and should be continue to be built. And what kind of bird did Hashem send? The bird that's known to be the most cruel of all birds, the Orev. I think it's a hawk, but I'm not sure. The Orev, you would think, would not do an act of chesed. Or in the context of the way things have been going along over here in Israel for the past 9-10 months, people would say something to the effect of, obviously I'm paraphrasing, why should I have to do with this guy? He's not from my party, and so on and so forth. And things which are much, much more serious than that. All of a sudden Hashem teaches us that even the Orev, the cruelest of all birds, goes ahead and does an act of chesed, goes ahead and buries Hevel's body. That is the message that Hashem was sending to Adam and Chava. And that is the message that Hashem is giving each and every one of us, especially this week that we're reading tomorrow in Shul, the portion of Bereishit. It's very difficult for us to hold on tight. It's unimaginable what our brothers and sisters went through less than a week ago. The pogrom, the Nazi-style cruel murder is just totally not beyond, but beneath any type of human kindness, human being. These are subhumans. And therefore we have to eradicate the evil. Totally. Like the Amalek. Soon after the 6-day war, Rav Lau, the father of the current chief rabbi, Rabbi Yisrael Meir Lau, who was then a young rabbi, was not yet the chief rabbi of Tel Aviv and definitely not yet the chief rabbi of Israel, was in New York, and he came to the Rebbe. And the Rebbe asked him, what is the mood? The Rebbe asked Chief Rabbi Lau, what is the mood of Jews in Israel now? And since it was soon after the 6-day war, Rav Lau answered to the Rebbe, people are very down. The mood is very, very sad. And people are asking, Ma yiyeh, what will be? The Rebbe became serious and he said, the question should not be what will be. The question should be, Ma na'aseh, what will we do? There's no point in sitting back and falling into depression. That's very easy. It's natural when a person sees atrocities of those kinds that was seen less than a week ago. I hope no one here looked at the pictures and definitely did not look at the videos. But to move on and to say, Manaseh, what can I do? What can you do? What can we do to change the situation? To make this world a better place? There is evil in the world, but the world is not evil. So the fact that we're here and Hashem brought us here, Baruch Hashem, to another day, means that we have the power, we have the energy, and the obligation not to sit back and twiddle our thumbs and count the stars. But we need to get up and work hard to eradicate all evil and to bring only light to the world. And this is exactly the message of what Hashem created on the first day of creation in the beginning of our parsha. Vayomer Elokim Yehi Or, Hashem said, there shall be light. Vayehi Or, and there was light. What is light? Light is something which is the neshama. It's the soul of every person, the soul of every object in the world is light. But sometimes we don't see the light. Did you know that Or is the numerical value of 206? The Aleph is 1. The Vav is 6. I meant to say 207. The Resh is 200. Or is the numerical value of 207. And that is the same numerical value as the word Raz. Resh is 200 and Zayin is 7. Raz is a secret. How do these two things come together? Usually light is beautiful. It comes forth. You can't really hide it. Light is clear usually, no? No. Not always. We hope that that is the case, but not always. Sometimes the light is hidden. Raz is like a sod, like a secret. In fact, the light that Hashem created at the beginning of the 6 days of creation, Talmud says Hashem hid it after the 6 days of creation and will reveal it once again to the tzaddikim when Mashiach will come. So here we go again. That light is Raz. That light that Hashem created then is hidden as a secret. It's our job to reveal the light. The light is there. It's not turned off. But sometimes it's just concealed. We're not perhaps worthy yet of being introduced to the light. And then Hashem comes along and says, Vayomer Elokim, Yihi Or. Hashem says, there shall be light. Vayihi Or. And there was light. Hashem gives us the koach, the energy, the possibility, and the strength to be able to reach into every single person and see the light, and also to every single object and to reveal the light. And this is definitely a challenge. It's not easy, but it's our obligation. This is what we need to do. This is what the Torah says towards the end of the Torah. Ki teitzeh la milchama al oivecha. When you will go out to war on your enemy. So the simple meaning is when you will go to war with your enemy. But no, over here we say moreover, Ki teitzeh la milchama al oivecha. Upon your enemy, on your enemy. What does that mean? You have a choice to go out to war and you fight as if it's one against one. But then you have Ki teitzeh la milchama, you go out to war. When Am Yisrael goes out to war, it needs to be al oivecha. Perhaps from above, or it's not only literally from above, it's also our whole approach needs to be that we're not even getting into a discussion. Like the Prime Minister said the other day, we're not even dealing with them. We're not even speaking to them. They're subhumans. There's no one to come to the table with. Our entire approach needs to be Ki teitzeh la milchama al oivecha, on top of your enemy. They're not even worthwhile to consider to be any kind of individual to have a dialogue with. There's an interesting story that the Alter Rebbe, the Baal Tanya, used to be the Baal Koreh. He used to read the Torah in his shul. So one time it was Shabbos, I believe, and he started reading our Parsha. And he started reading Bereishit bara Elokim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. And then he put his head down. For a while, he was in deep contemplation. He thought very deeply. No one knew what was going on. And then after a while, he continued to read the Parsha. When they told the Tzemach Tzedek what his grandfather had done, later on the Tzemach Tzedek became the third Rebbe after the passing of his uncle and father-in-law, Rabbi Dov Ber, and he was the direct grandson of the Alter Rebbe. So he said as follows: now I understand, just from the fact of what my grandfather did, what he meant by stopping to read the Torah. He meant a very deep interpretation into the pasuk Bereshit bara Elokim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. In the beginning, Hashem created the heavens and the earth. But there is a much deeper interpretation, which connects beautifully with the whole concept of the or, the light that we just talked about. He said as follows: Bereshit bara Elokim. In the beginning, Bereshit. Correct? Bereshit means in the beginning. In the beginning, what do we need to do? Bara, which is, as the Targum says, Idgali, revealed. Elokim, we have to reveal the secret of the name of Elokim. So Hashem is here, Hashem is there, Hashem is truly everywhere. But if we can't see him, that makes things very difficult to do his will. And so the first thing we need to do is to reveal godliness. Or in the context that we said a little earlier, we need to reveal the light within everyone, within every object. Then let's go on to the second half of the verse. Et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. This also has to be revealed within the spiritual realm and the materialistic realm. So we have shamayim, which literally means heavens, and spiritually means the higher realm. And then you have et haaretz, artziyut, the materialism of the world. It's not enough to reveal spirituality in the higher realms. Et hashamayim, that's correct. But also the et haaretz, and the land. We have to reveal Hashem in the artziyut, in the materialism and the day-to-day matters that we're involved in. They also need to be infused and inspired with godliness, and godliness should be revealed within them. I would like to finish today's shir, first of all, to dedicate it to all of the soldiers that are already fighting and are prepared to fight on our behalf. We're doing our part as well, but nothing can compare to our most dedicated soldiers who, with fire in their eyes, are ready, clearly, are ready to eradicate Hamas and all evil. Especially, I want to mention my brother Moshe David ben Chavalea, who came here specially from Toronto on the first day, a few hours after the war broke out. And Hashem should protect him amongst all other soldiers that are so selflessly prepared to fight for Hashem and for all of us. When we talk about the idea of revealing the neshama and revealing the or, the light, the raz, the secret of light, I'm reminded of a story that took place about 3 years ago. This story was told over by the legendary Binyamin Horgan, husband of Esther Horgan of blessed memory, who was brutally murdered. She used to, they live, the husband still lives, she used to live with her husband in Yishuv Tal Menashe, right near Afula. And every morning she would go jogging around the area. And she loved the beautiful scenery of Eretz Yisrael. And unfortunately, one day, an evil murderer, terrorist, tried to kill her. She fought with him until the very last moment, until she succumbed to the wounds that her evil murderer did to her. And 1 year, at the first year yard site, friend Rabbi Ashkenazi was invited to go and speak to the large crowd that came to pay respects and honor to Esther's husband and family. And my friend tells over that sometimes you come to inspire, and it turns out you become inspired by others. And he said it when Esther's husband, Binyamin, stood up to speak. It was impossible to feel and understand the tremendous pain that he had been going through. And he himself said there wasn't a night that he cries himself to sleep. And the images, they haunt him of the terrible murder of his wife. And he says that there were many days when they had to go to court and they had to present their side. And one time he came home after a very long, emotionally stressful day. And he reached out on the top of the shelf to get the remote to turn on the television and to relax. And instead of the remote, he got the Tehillim. He just opened up randomly and he started to say chapter 24. And in this chapter, in chapter 24, his eyes fell upon a verse which says as follows: Mi ya'aleh b'har Hashem, u'mi yakum b'mkom konsho. Who will go up to the mountain of Hashem, and who will stand in the holy place? Binyamin said that he felt that King David was talking to him, that Hashem was talking to him. He says, I cannot continue to sit and cry. No one asked me if I wanted this horrific shlichut, this horrific mission. But what I was given, the opportunity to act, the opportunity to tell the world with a microphone what the truth is about the survival of Am Yisrael. And he said that since then, at every opportunity he goes to speak in interviews, he speaks to politicians in Israel, around the world. He writes letters to governments to strengthen the security of those that are the inhabitants of the Yishuvim, and to establish a park in Esther's memory, right in the place of the murder, and to continue all the great acts that Esther of blessed memory used to do. That's exactly the message that we've been saying from the beginning. A Jew does not ask why. A Jew asks what. It's okay to ask why, but you can't stop there. The main question is what? What do I do? How can I make this world a better place? How can I get rid of the terrible evil? And instead of that, to replace it with good and revealed good. Bezrat Hashem, we should strengthen ourselves before this Shabbos. That every woman that you can come in contact with, encourage them to light Shabbat candles. Today, with social media, it is much easier than ever before to reach people even in the farthest places, uplifting them and encouraging them to do mitzvahs, to light candles before Shabbat. Go out to the shuk, come over here to Kikar Paris, where the water fountain is, and put on tefillin with Jews. This is a special, very special act that you can do. Not why, rather what. What can I do? What can we do as a people, as a community, to make the situation better? And so I want to wish everybody a great Shabbos. I hope you join us tonight for Mincha at 5 to 6. Tomorrow morning, Tehillim at 8:30. It's always important to say Tehillim, especially Shabbos Mevarchim, especially on a week like this. To have in mind our soldiers, to have in mind those that are in captivity, and to have in mind those that need a refuah shlema. Have a wonderful Shabbat. Have a happy Shabbat, an uplifting Shabbat. Shabbat Bereishit is the first Shabbat, reading the first Parsha. And we have a saying in Chabad, in Yiddish, that the way that Shabbat Bereishit goes, that's how the entire year is going to go. So let's make it a positive Shabbat, a singing Shabbat, and a happy Shabbat. And Bezrat Hashem will be able to Mashiach will come right now, and we'll have all of those tzaddikim which have perished in this current war together with us immediately now. Toda Rabba. Shabbat Shalom.